All right, it's 8 o'clock. We'll call the Ramsey County Commission meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Minutes were in your packet. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Approval of the bills. Any questions on the bills?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the bills. Roll call, please.
Otis,
Aye.
Frith,
Aye.
Bulk.
Aye.
Wilhelmie.
Aye.
Gessner.
Aye. Motion carried. Approval for the financial reports.
So move.
Mo- Motion and a second for financial reports. Roll call, please.
Otis,
Aye.
Frith,
Aye.
Bulk,
Aye.
Wilhelmie.
Aye.
Gessner.
Aye. Approval of treasurer's checks.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the treasurer's checks. Roll call, please.
Wilhelmie.
Aye.
Frith,
Aye.
Otis,
Aye.
Bulk,
Aye.
Gessner.
Aye. Is there any additions to the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Brian, you're up.
Good morning, Commissioners. I think I've talked to each of you individually, submitted my resignation for May 30th. Thank Ramsey County for the last 4 years of employment. I think you're all aware of why I'm leaving, per our discussion. So really, I'm up here right now. I've got the new, the advertisement going for the position. Indeed, job service. It'll post in the paper this week. Association of Counties. I'm missing something. Or our Facebook page. So I don't know if Taylor, Candy has anything to add with the transition to Tyler Technologies. I think that is moving forward. Anything related to HR and payroll. But if you guys have any other questions or.
Did we set a closing date on?
I did set a closing date for the 12th of May.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it's not, it won't be open until filled after that. So, but
Sure.
The main thing is we got it out there. It's going, that went out middle of last week. So there hasn't been any response yet. A serious response, I guess. I'll put it that way. So.
Well, I certainly want to thank you for what you've done for the HR department here at Ramsey County, and wish you well in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Been good working with you.
Yeah, I appreciate the support the commission's given me in the past and for the current scenario. So thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
So we need to need a motion to accept the resignation then.
I'll make a motion to accept Brian's letter of resignation.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Well, it's not close to 8:30, but Dominic, do you want to give us a rundown?
Hello, my name is Dominic Aratano. I went to Indiana State University and I graduated with an airport management and a minor in unmanned systems. I am the new Devils Lake Regional Airport Manager. I've been here about 4 months, still slowly learning everything that's needed to go up to speed, but I'll get up to speed eventually.
I kind of asked Dominic to come in and introduce himself to the commission before our budget hearings come up, and he has to come in and ask for money, kind of thing. So it's always good to put a name to the face before that happens. And certainly we've been working well with Dominic out at the airport. Done a really good job so far, and encourage everybody to get to know him. Stop out, say hi. If you'd like a tour of the new facility, it's a beautiful new airport terminal, and Dominic would be happy to show things off out there for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and Dominic, could you tell us about the new flight schedule that's coming up in the middle or the end of June?
Yeah, so we are actually getting direct flights to Denver. We will not have the Jamestown Lake. Originally, we were told that it was 2 hours. They're going to land 2 hours before the original schedule, but it turns out it's just 15 minutes before. But should cut travel time in half, and you should be able to make your destination to the East Coast a lot easier.
I think it's going to be a great addition to our facility, and it just shows the bordership that's been up over the recent years with the terminal expansion and the direct flights to Denver will, I think, help immensely with that. So appreciate that. Appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
And then the Jamestown, they have the same thing going on. Then
Yeah.
So I'll have the same thing.
There's no reduction in flights with this.
There is actually, we're losing one flight.
One
so
flight.
they're only contracted for 12 flights.
Okay.
They were giving us 13 flights.
Oh.
Now it's just going back to 12.
Okay. Not that much difference in time schedules then, so everybody won't be any
The
learning curve for that.
the people at SkyWest that schedule the planes, they've already came up with an idea of what would work best and what's best for them as well.
So get to the airport won't be a big deal unless you don't have your real ID, and they say be at the airport 3 hours earlier than normal. I heard that on the news the other day. So, well, I appreciate you coming in. Thank you.
Is there any other questions or?
No. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yep, thanks.
Well, while somebody runs over and sees if the water board's ready, Brian, you want to jump the line?
Morning.
Morning.
Reason I'm here today is to ask to get permission to purchase a new radar unit to put in one of our new squad cars. We're going through our units. Some of them need to be refurbished. We're going to try that route. But we had wrote a letter to the Ottertail Power Company Foundation requesting assistance in purchasing the radar. And they gave us $2,500 towards the purchase
Of that 36?
of that 36. So I'm looking for a motion from the commission to approve the purchase of the radar at that $3,640 with the $2,500 donation from Ottertail, and the $1,140 will come out of my equipment budget.
I'll make the motion to order that.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion?
So we have to pay this all of it up front and then we'll get a reimbursement from Ottertail, or
I already got the check from Ottertail. It's already been, I gave it to the treasurer and it was deposited into the miscellaneous general account. So that money will have to come out of there and then the rest will come out of my budget.
Actually, we came up with a different plan.
Oh, now you give me a curveball.
Sorry. Sorry. It was an afterthought.
All right. Whatever, Candy.
Yeah.
She got to figure it out.
We're just gonna make a grant line in your budget. So it shows like an in and an out in
That way it shows that you got it.
your line item. Like in your
Perfect.
budget.
Cause we got other things that are out there that I think we're
Yep.
gonna get awarded on, so.
Just a little bit easier way to track instead of having to go through page upon page of miscellaneous general trying to look for something in your budget, like for your budget when there's
Perfect.
several things. So
And back in the future, or back in, history work, it's something that you can always go back and say, well, this is who supported us for this.
Yeah.
or-
Right.
and I apologize I didn't get time to tell you that yesterday. But I was
It's all right. You were busy.
I was focused.
Any other discussion or questions for Sheriff Lang? Motion and a second to approve this purchase is on the table. All in favor, say aye.
I,
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Anything else, Sheriff?
Just quick update. We got 2 of the 3 new vehicles are in, so we're gonna start getting them outfitted and put on the road. And we just put our new pistols into service as of Friday. And the shooting was much better by everybody with these new guns with the hollow suns on them.
Very good.
Other than that, I don't have anything unless commission has something for me.
No, I don't think so.
Hey, thank you.
thank you, Sheriff. You're up. Go ahead, John.
Good morning.
Morning, John.
So a quick update for the water board, our meeting this morning. We have tabled the Channel A. We're going to get together with Cavalier County, and instead of doing the whole project right now, because we don't have an assessment for it, we're going to wait till we have the assessment dollars and then move forward with the maintenance of those culverts. Unless there is a problem, then we'll take and do just what's needed. The only other thing is we did receive a new snake and clear request. It's in Newbury Township. They are requesting to take and basically go from County 7 up to close to County 8. They got roads that are being inundated, and it is not to take and clean their farmland. It is basically to allow the water that overflows back into them to get back out. So it's basically to save their roads so that they can get their equipment down the roads and also for emergency vehicles. But other than that, the water board will be sending a letter of support for the steering committee tomorrow for the outlet operations. Don't know how much good it does, but at least we are hoping that they can do a little bit more, especially if it doesn't rain as much this year. We did have one water complaint, and the stream crossings was done on County 8, and Kevin, I think, was sent it that there is a request to upsize the culvert from a 24-inch to a 54 to accommodate the 25-year flood plan. So, but other than that, does anybody got any questions?
Any questions?
Is it 25-year? Is that
For the county,
okay? It's
10-year for the townships.
right. 50 for a state federal highway.
45.
45. Okay. Did you guys approve the snag and clear petition?
No, we just accepted it, and we're gonna do the benefited area.
Okay.
And then get a little bit, don't go quite so wide on this benefited area, and have the petitioners take and talk to the landowners to make sure everybody's on the same page. So we don't have dissension among the petitioners.
Gotcha. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal.
We'll use the last one as a learning experience of
Very good.
what not to do.
Awesome. That's good.
So anything else?
I don't think so, John. Thank
Just one quick thing. We have not got to this on our agenda yet, but our office manager is requesting a leave of absence and we will be discussing it. So we may not have office staff for at least in the office every day for a little while.
Okay.
So it's just an FYI.
Very good.
One thing I didn't get to share with you guys, John, is the summer conference is coming up. We'll be holding that here in Devil's Lake at the Spirit Lake Casino. And there's going to be a really good presentation on assessment projects and creating them and how they move through the process. Botno County does a lot of assessment drains with about a 98% approval rating on them. And they're going to be given the presentation, but it also meets the requirements for continuing education credits for water board managers. That's going to be July 9th at the Spear Lake Casino.
Yeah, one thing with Botany, although they don't have Devil's Lake at the end where the water stops.
Right.
So anything else, guys?
No, appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, John.
Okay.
Kevin, we'll jump to you.
Morning. Okay, to start off, we have the summer road maintenance contract from Prospect Township. This is the last one of all the townships, so, and then it requires a signature from the chairman and the auditor, so I'd like to entertain a motion to have those two sign the contract.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve signing of the maintenance contract. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
Okay, we opened bids for the South Minnewacan Township on 89th Avenue. And there were 4 bidders. I don't know if you get, I think
Yep,
you sent-
we got that.
Okay, thanks. Quite a bit less than the engineer's estimate, which was good for us. But close construction was the low bid. And I guess I didn't see anything wrong with the bids.
Yeah, there's a couple minor typos, like $200 different. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's a couple minor typos on their bid, but the total was like $200 different than what they had. So I would recommend award to close construction.
Okay. Anybody willing to make the motion?
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second that. This was all set aside already, right?
This is 100% paid by the state. Yep.
Yeah, this is just,
We act as a banker.
yeah.
Yep. Tracking.
Any other discussion? Motion to approve close construction for the South Minnewacan Township 89th Avenue project. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
Okay, and then we have some invoices from the DOT for the local match on the 4 culvert washouts that happened in 2022. This is for the design engineering that KLJ is doing. And our share, 19.07% is of the 4 sites. And this billing is for $6,308.19. So I'd like to entertain a motion to sign the motion.
Moved.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the payment to KLJ for $6,308.19. Any other discussion?
Actually, it goes to the DOT, but
Oh, yeah, okay. To the DOT.
Yep.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
okay, and then had an email from Flock Safety. The email said that the Devils Lake Police Department is partnering with Flock Safety to install automatic license
plate reader cameras in 4 locations. So 2 of which will be on our county right away. One will be on the curves on the Wood Rutten Road, right by John Brown's, close to John Brown's driveway. And the other one is on Ramsey County 2, just east of Elk Drive a little ways. They're both within the clear zone, but they do have breakaway posts on them. So if somebody would happen to hit them, the posts will breakaway safety stuff. So I guess they're looking for a motion to allow those 2 signs to go in our right of way.
Were you aware of that, Sheriff?
Yes. Okay. I've been part of the discussion. In fact,
we're having them just come in. They're just setting these cameras up, so they're just demoing them at this point, so we can see what kind of data that we can gather from them. Basically, what they're used for is if you're tracking somebody with a stolen vehicle and stuff like that, you get the comings and the goings. It'll read the license plate and kick that information to you if it comes across a stolen vehicle.
So then this will be right at the police station where you can see the information, or how does that work?
It won't be at the police station. We'll be able to, it'll send us a notification. We can access the software through.
Kind of like a camera system.
Right. And it stores all the data so we can go back and pull it.
Thank you.
Is it monitoring speeds, or is it what's it?
No, I believe they're just license plate readers.
Just license plate readers.
These ones won't do speed. They're both in a 40-mile, 45-mile-an-hour speed zone, but that's not part of.
But that's not part of the
monitoring.
The reason why it's okay.
From what I understand, is that the way it works?
You looking for a motion to?
Yeah, put them in the right way.
I'll make the motion to allow the cameras. This is only 2 locations that affect us.
Yep, the other 2 are state right of ways.
I'll make the motion for the 2 cameras in our right of way.
Okay. I just have a question about how long they will be there.
I don't.
If I remember correctly, it's a 90-day trial period, and then we got the option to buy in. We wanted to see how it runs before we bring it to the commissions to buy in on this, because it is expensive.
Then I would recommend the commission approve them for the trial period and then revisit for right of way when it comes back up again, if you want to.
Okay, I'll rescind my motion to allow the 2 camera systems and locations for the trial period, and then bring it back to the table with what sheriff's information gets out of it.
Is there a second to the amended motion?
I would still second.
Okay, motion to accept or allow the cameras to be put in for the 90-day trial period. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried.
Okay, got an email from North Plains Rail asking us to put 25-mile-an-hour speed limit signs on the rail crossing by South on Ramsey 4 until they can get the funding in place for replacing the crossing. Now, with that said, I drove over it yesterday at 55, and it was considerably better than it has been earlier. It's like the frost heaves that showed up everywhere else, now they're gone, type of thing. So I don't know, I may want to get back to them and see if they want to change that or something.
Okay.
But I was just over it yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to talk to them.
That sounds like a logical path to take.
Yeah.
Is that something that can be done temporarily, or is it, like a
Seasonally or something?
Yeah, a spring bump sign type of thing that, where these frost heaves come in and reduce speeds and.
Yeah. I mean, it's been there for a long time. This is the first year it got
Yeah.
really bad, just like all the bumps everywhere else. But I know what you're saying, and it's kind of changes every year type of thing. So
I'm just wondering, like that, there's a really bad one south of Animos on 14 that they put up seasonally that, it's a 25-mile-an-hour deal. And that one will rattle your teeth if you're not going 25.
yeah, that one kitty corners the
Yeah,
road.
so, but I think they leave the sign up there year round and they just fold it down and put it back up, kind of thing, like the truck inspection sign out by the DOT shop and different things like that. But
And they are seeking funding to put a new crossing. I think it's a wooden crossing in there, and they've been going with concrete crossings lately. So
is that something we have to put in for a request or a match for? Or?
Typically we are responsible for 25%, but I'm not sure on this one because they're the ones requesting it, not us type of thing. If it was us requesting it, then we'd have the match.
25%.
Yeah. At the time, it was a good idea. In fact, we put temporaries out there because you couldn't go any faster than 25.
So do we just want to table this until you talk to them, or?
Probably.
Okay, sounds like a plan. We'll table it then until you get in touch with them.
Alrighty. Then we have a final invoice billing from the DOT for the box culvert we put on Ramsey 4. Same match, 19.707%. And that's for $1,762.19. It has a signature page that requires a signature from the chairman and the auditor explaining where we got their local share from. The $1,700 is below the $2,500 limit, but we still need a motion to sign that local share form.
Make a motion to have the chairman and auditor sign the local certification match form.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to have the chairman and auditor sign the certification of local match. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
And I put together some specs asking for a contractor to build our salt storage shed. So you may see that ad in the paper this week. I guess I had Daniel look at it too, and he had one thing to add, which I missed, so that was good. I think we added any bids that come in late will not be open. Type of thing. I completely forgot about that, to be honest. But anyway, they have a list of probably 5 or 6 local contractors we're going to send hard copies to, and also put in the paper. So,
okay,
just so you're aware. Then we're also advertising for employees to fill Jason's position, and we had a road maintenance position resign also. So we're advertising to fill that position. Just for a heads up.
The information that you put in the paper, do you want that on the Facebook page?
Sure. I never even thought of that either.
Or have Kevin put it on the highways?
Jason, you mean?
Yeah, Jason.
Who? Jason.
Jason.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll talk.
Or send it to me and I can put it on ours.
I'll do both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because then it goes out to.
There are a lot of local contractors that went through the yellow pages phone book. So yeah, we'll do that. Also, I'm getting estimates to replace 6 windows on the north side of the main shop. One question I have there is there's like 4 different, maybe 5 different grades of windows. And do we want to go with the best grade of window, or do we want to go with something in between? The best grade are probably, there's 6 of them. They're probably about $1,000, roughly $1,000 each. And it gets down to half that at the lowest grade. And of course, it's an R value or insulation value, that type of thing, whether they're vinyl or wood or some of you are probably aware how windows work.
Yeah.
I would say put in the better grade. It's not going anywhere. It's not like
That's,
temporary building.
I agree.
Yeah, it's not a huge ticket item. So, and at this point, we plan on putting them in ourselves. So,
The shop's not going
Yeah.
right.
for many years. So we're going to kept buying, and all of a sudden we're putting
Grant. Okay. Oh, Ixnay that. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, I will pursue that further, and that's all I have for now. Unless you have something for me.
I do have a question. The road closures that you have out there, do you know what time frame? And on the one going by the terminal out there,
Yep.
is there something we can do on that? Because it seems like that's becoming every year thing.
That's a
I mean, is
township.
this something that we talked to the city and the township?
Probably.
Because I know they did some stuff to go east. Dude, I was just curious if
Oh.
they had plans going west. Do that. What is it? A mile stretch? I don't even think it's a mile.
Yeah, no, it's like 3/4. Yeah, but the bad spot is only 1/8 of a mile or something. It's not very. It's not the whole road. That way. Yeah, that's a good idea. You got some.
Yeah, I guess I've been working with Ray Sletland on that a little bit with the township. That's since the township road out there, and I took some measurements. We added, cement treatment to the subgrade out on the northwest section of that. We're planning on putting together a flex grant application for the summer for the township. Do similar treatment going east.
So when you're talking the flex grant, is that something similar that the city did to get that other road paved out here, or what did they do there?
They just use their federal aid program.
They actually bought all the right.
Yeah, that one was. So the city had to add by or annex the statutory right of way for that project into the city limits. They wouldn't have to do that out there since it's a township road if they use the flexible transportation funds or the township assistance program. There are a couple options there. It's not a guarantee, but I've been looking at estimates to fix that up.
Yeah, because it just to me seems like it's been an ongoing thing, and then we're closing it off, and I know that's a pretty main road.
Is the township willing to actually do something or?
Yeah, they approached us.
Okay, good. Because like Commissioner Volk said, it's a ongoing annual occurrence over there and creates a major discombobulation of transportation in and out of that part of town, especially for school. Hey, everybody attending schools over there. So I think it'd be vitally important to get that thing fixed.
Yeah, we've been putting estimates together for that for 20 years, probably.
Yeah.
First getting that fixed up.
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate it. Yep.
Thank you.
So that flexible program is like similar to what South Milwaukee Township had. So.
Okay. Yeah, just so there's something in the works, because I think it's just for all our patrons out there. I just think needs to be done.
We're seeing a lot of blow-ups or whatever you want to call them this year. Some on the county system. There's another one on township 3 miles east of town and then north. It was even worse than this one. So that road's closed also.
Yeah,
I would imagine. Yeah, I imagine it won't be open until load limits come off anyway. 3 weeks. That's just my guess.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
No, thank you, Kevin.
Yep.
Well, Bryce and Cade, you don't want to sit here till 9 o'clock, do you? Oh, okay.
I'll take one. Yeah, hopefully everybody got perfect. All right, so yeah, Bryce Welch with Bremer Wealth. Just wanted to touch base on the current bond ladder that we've been doing for the last few years for you guys. This page that I passed out is just a little bit where we stand right now as of April 30th. So it's month end. So the front page is just kind of showing where things are at currently. The current coupon, which is basically the interest rate, the average that all the bonds are paying, is 2.2%. The current yield is based on that interest rate based on the current market value at 2.25. The yield to maturity is kind of one of the big numbers we look at when we're buying any of these bonds. And the reason for that is that's taking into account not only that interest rate, but what the price we paid for it and what it's going to be when it matures. Because how bonds work is you buy them, if you hold them till maturity, you get all the interest payments plus the full value back when it matures. We may have bought some higher than the full value, some lower. It just depends on where bonds are at the time. So right now, the face amount that if we held all of them till maturity was $1,975,000. The current market value is at $1,907,000. So you can see we're a little bit under that just with how bonds have done the last few years. They have went down as interest rates go up in value. Total accruals is just the interest earned so far, but hasn't been sent to us. So 10,756. And then the cost is what we actually paid for those when we bought them, each one. The bottom ones, little charts are just showing the different. Left one is showing the quality of the bonds. So all pretty high quality. On the right side, I think is probably the more interesting one, just showing the laddered out approach. So less than 1 year, 26% are going to mature in the next 12 months. You have 66.2% that are going to mature in 1 to 5 years, and then 5 to 10 years in the intermediate space, 7.8%. So we try to have some maturing all the time. And then the other pages I'm not going to go through fully. I just wanted to put it in there as just kind of showing you all the different bonds that we have for you guys right now. They are all based on North Dakota state statutes. Make sure we're following the rules for any county has to follow those. So it complies with all of that. So that, I guess I wanted to open it up for questions, or Lisa, if you had.
And I guess I was talking to Bryce too about maybe moving those bonds to the sweep. But I want to know what you guys are thinking.
You're talking about the bonds that are maturing?
No,
Just-
moving them all.
Because what's the rate on the sweep right now? I don't.
It's over 4.
Over 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the money would be available at any time.
Is there a penalty to do that?
No, we just get whatever the market value is. Being it's staying in Bremer, there's no closing fees or anything like that. It'd just be a matter of us selling the bonds, which takes a couple days basically to do it and move the money over. The other thing that we would be saving is for the bond ladder, for us to do it, there is a fee for us to manage it, which right now you're at about 0.5%. So, there is some benefit there as far as you would be picking up some yield overall. I think the only downside is if rates start to go down, you're not locked in the money market. It's a variable rate, but.
So the face value, that's what we put in there, and the market value is what we're at.
So the face value is if we held them all till maturity.
Oh, okay, tracking.
And the market value is where they were at as of April 30th. I believe I looked this morning and it was up a little bit. I don't remember the exact value there of what it was, but that changes everything in that market value.
I guess it comes down to if we want to chase the interest.
Correct.
Yeah. And how accessible. I mean, this is all fairly accessible. Like I said, we can sell it and have it to you in a couple days. So it's always available. It's just going to go up and down in value if we're selling them early where the money market's not.
So, Chris, Lisa, that you're talking that 4%, that a 6-month thing, 1 month thing, year thing.
It's a sweep. They sweep it every night. It's an ICS sweep, cash sweep.
Yeah.
Right now we have, cause, Lee wanted me to bring this in. Right now at Bremer Sweep, I have, over 4,300,000. They sweep that every night. What's nice about that too is that you don't have to watch the pledge of assets. That's all taken care of. So it kind of takes, because you got to have that money covered when examiners come. And this way, they sweep it at night, and so we do make fair interest off of that.
It is a really good product. We've had a lot of people like that just because the cash is available. You don't have to have the pledge assets because it does sweep out, but it's still, you come into Bremer and you can take the money anytime.
So with the,
I think the last interest rate was like 4.18.
I think it's somewhere there, Bob. Do you know off the top of your head?
so,
Okay.
so with the cash sweep, what's that cost us to operate?
Nothing.
And there's other ones. Okay.
Yeah.
And the other one's costing.
Yep.
us,
I'm
I
tracking.
want to say it was like $600 and some dollars,
Yeah. It's,
$695 a month,
Yeah,
$675.
roughly in there. So
It all depends if you want to chase interest or not, the daily interest. At the moment, we're going to make more money doing the sweep. If you look at the futures, but I don't have a crystal ball in front of me.
Yeah.
It's going to happen tomorrow. That's the,
Exactly.
yeah, and I would just say, I've seen this over the past where we've done this before with other counties where times like this we've moved money kind of back, interest rates change, and it's not something that we can't go, hey, things have changed again. Let's go back to this strategy because it makes sense.
well,
So-
with the market being as volatile as it is, probably not a bad thing to do the sweep. Doing the interest.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously we're not
It's changing.
seeing the stock market, but even interest rates have been jumping around more than we typically see in most times. We've seen a lot of treasury yields going up and down a lot faster than they typically do. So it's definitely, the market value has been changing a lot more in a bond ladder than we typically have seen.
And at the time,
But
you maybe want to explain to them too, when we did the municipal bonds,
yeah,
that was looking better at that time
Yeah.
than we were in a treasury market.
We were a lot more stable. The
Yeah.
economy was.
well, the economy was, interest rates on the bank side were 0.5% maybe you were getting, and we were able to do the bond ladder for, it wasn't super exciting, but yield to maturity is probably in the 2.5 range, which adds up compared to 0.5%. And now things have switched. And we have been kind of slowly over the past, I don't know, year or so, as things have matured, we have been moving them out
Yeah.
into the money market, but just thought it may not be, if that's what you're looking for, is just to go that route, it may make sense just to shift, to take out that volatility and just do it. But
I'll make the motion that we go to the cash sweep.
I'd second that.
The motion and the second to close the bond portion of our portfolio to cash sweep. Any other questions or comments?
One of the questions I have is the interest that we accumulate, is that rolled over? Are we able to utilize that in any way, shape, or form for?
We haven't, so when I did visit with the examiners, we have not on the cash sheet did anything with the interest.
Okay.
So that's going to be a healthy little bit in there. So that we'll take that out. Or I guess if it flows into the ICF, it's not that big of a deal. We'll just reseed it in.
I'd like to be able to see if we could use that somehow in budget buy down or reduction in mill levies or something to that effect, and just let it sit there.
Well, it would go into your ICS and you'd be able to see the total of it. Because we roll that in there. I mean, we're gonna roll like just about 2,000,006. We're gonna have about 6,300,000. And of course, you see the interest that we get
Right.
for that ICS goes into the general account
And the ICS is available.
and it's available at any time.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know what we have for outstanding projects, you know, like Kevin, if you got some outstanding road projects, you know, those kind of things are nice that we have the money available.
Any other discussion or questions? Motion to roll this over in a second around the table. Roll call, please.
Otis.
Aye.
Frith.
Aye.
Bulk.
Aye.
Wilhelmie.
Aye.
Gessner.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions that anybody has for either Bob or I?
No, I don't think so.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just finish on. I got
Appreciate
a
it.
couple
Yeah.
other things.
If you want to send me.
Sure.
Yep.
Yep, I'll do that. Thanks for coming.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, Bryce. And then you just kind of wanted to know, we've talked about the Bremer one, what we had. Lee wanted to kind of know, First United Bank of, like the old Ramsey Bank, First United, we have 2,200,000 in there. And then of course, Western State Bank, we have 2,953,000. Those are the reserve accounts we have.
And Bremer was again. I'm sorry.
Bremer, if we roll all of that, we're gonna have about 6,300,000, give or take.
When you're talking the First Bank in Western, that reserve.
First United Bank, that's the Ramsey Bank.
Yep, but when I'm talking when you call it reserve,
He wanted to know what we had in reserve money, correct?
Yeah.
Is that what we were getting
Yeah.
at?
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just going off my cash sheet.
that's fallback money, right? If
Yeah.
something was to hit the fan.
Yeah.
Okay, that's I just want to.
And then of course, you know, we don't know like what we have for outstanding,
Yep.
you know, road projects or, yeah. And I guess if that's it, that's all I have.
Any other questions for Lisa?
Lisa, since you're here, you want to talk about Edmore School District?
Oh, yeah.
The hearing we have coming up on
Monday, we have the, published all the land, parcels again for the dissolution of Edmore. There was some parcels missed, so we had to redo. The hearing is May 12th, Monday coming up. It is at 1:00 in the courthouse basement. Yeah. Jody's working on that and we'll see what happens. And of course, it was an expense again. You're looking at anywhere from 300, depending on newspaper wise. We had 4 different newspapers. We're going to be way into like $1,300 to publish that. Because Dakota charged $486 to publish it.
So this is final.
Yep.
It has to be.
Fingers. It has to be.
I mean, we published this once already, right?
Yes.
we had a hearing once before too.
Yep.
It's like, come on.
That's what I say.
They're
1 year period to get it done.
Exactly. And you know, the documents that were missed, you know, there's really nobody to blame. I don't know if Cavalier didn't have them correct or DPI didn't have them correct, or I don't know. That's bygone. There's nobody to
at the
blame
end of the
anymore.
day, it wasn't our fault.
It wasn't, but I don't want to sit and blame somebody.
Right.
Let's just go for it.
I'm not here to be blaming. I'm just saying this. Everybody knows this is final. So that
Yep.
And there have been a lot of discussions with Edmore and with the county committee. But statute requires that within 1 year it be finalized. So June 30th is our deadline. We're on track to meet that. With the May 12th meeting, the committee will give a final recommendation on the plan to approve it as presented or to make some changes. And then it will go up to the state, has to approve it before it can go through. And the state will have their meeting in June to finalize.
I think
that
it's
plan.
June 23rd is the state meeting.
So I do have one question.
And of course, they don't meet every month.
So that's our last, that is
Yeah.
our last chance.
So once we're done meeting and all this, and whatever happened with the school, we're not going to be held accountable. We're not going to be held accountable, right? It's gone. It's done.
I mean, I don't know what you mean by held accountable.
Well, so if they sell off the school to the city of Edmore, and once the school was purchased or donated or whatever happens, they are now held to that. Once that would go into their hands, it doesn't come back onto us like Prairie did.
It's the I don't know what happened with Prairie, but it's transferring to the city of Edmore. It's the city of Edmore's property. They take care of it. The county isn't involved. A lot of this really doesn't have much to do with the county, other than the statute sets up that the county committee has to handle dissolution or reorganization of school districts. So without more details on what happened in Prairie, I can't say it won't happen, but my understanding is
Prairie,
they're disposing of all of the assets, and from there we won't have to deal with it again.
Prairie was a different situation because someone personally purchased the school. And then I believe we foreclosed on the property. Then that's when it became
Our asset,
our
our responsibility.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asbestos
Because they had
was
a
huge,
They-
water
clean
leak
that
or a
Well, and they had a huge
or a
remaining
something in the
surplus
gym.
of,
Yeah.
Chemistry.
Yeah.
Chemicals that were left within the building.
So in that vein, any piece of property in the county can always come back on the county to resolve if it's a public health issue. But this goes to the city of Edmore, and they're supposed to be able to maintain it, but it will be their responsibility from there.
Okay.
And I do apologize. I have to run to court. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Lisa.
okay.
So we got one more thing that's the
Oh, primary,
add these names to the
yeah, that's the trust accounts that didn't go through. The state stopped them. Now they're gonna push them through. How many do we have? 38 of them, 30.
Of course.
And then there was some that they pushed through that already got the 500. So I went through there and we're gonna have, go through it again, make sure it's right. Download it, tap it to the system, and then they'll cut it back to us a check. And I think without having to go back and redo all those on the computer, we'll just treat them like we did the mobile homes. We'll just cut them a check and then keep everything in a file. So if you okay all of those, right now I can't give you a total because I don't have a total. I mean,
yeah, that's
not everybody on that 38 pay,
And I think we said that the bottom three were duplicates.
they were duplicates.
Yeah.
But some trust accounts got the 500 and then they shut off some of them.
Yeah, and some didn't. And
I actually did call into Kathy Freilich yesterday
we argued and
because they gave the trust accounts now the PRC, but they didn't follow through with the homestead credits. So if you have a homestead credit, you don't, or you have a trust account, you don't get a homestead credit, which I don't think is really fair because people are only trying to protect their property, regardless if it's a homestead credit or a PRC. She was going to talk to the tax commissioner about it, see what we can do because we have one individual that got stopped when he tried to download to the state and she got 2 years. Living off of Social Security now, she owes me $4,400.
Good.
We got to try and work with her. I don't know what to do.
Good.
So we'll just kind of wait to hear from Brian, the tax commissioner, or Kathy Freilich back on that?
I think it was pretty clear that the legislation was designated for primary resident credit, and they missed the trust.
Correct.
First one, so they made an emergency clause this time and passed this one. So it had nothing to do with homestead credit.
No. But I think that they need to look at either you're helping them out on a PRC or you're helping them out on a homestead credit, where there's trust both ways. It should kind of be treated the same way.
Just the $500 and not the homestead credit
Right.
portion.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I said, didn't I?
What I didn't.
So,
Well,
so that's what they addressed with the trust deal was
The
primary-
PRC.
The PRC.
So
Yeah.
if you have, okay, so I'm a little confused now too. If you have a homestead credit, there's some of them that did not get.
The homestead credit because they were in a trust.
Oh, okay.
And regardless of whatever you got. So in some individuals too, like when they get a PRC, they can get a homestead credit. Say they only get 50% homestead credit. They can still run the PRC off of that and end up paying nothing or whatever. It depends on how much the house is.
Yeah.
But
So what you're saying is these people,
their trust accounts. But now
But-
some trust accounts went through and got the 500 and then some didn't. So on that list, I had to go through them yesterday. There was probably 6 of them that got the 500. So, I'll mark those so we don't get it twice because they already got the 500 off their property. And then I had some that had farm exempt. They put the 500 down. Well, you can't get that either.
so the business at hand is we got to approve these additions of the trust accounts. I just counted them. 34.
Clean up as
There's a 34 of them.
It's 30.
Oh, I don't know.
I
And then
could
we
have
gotta
missed. I was
look
listening
at-
and counting at the same time, so I was
Yep.
just happy I got to 30. So we need to clean this trust part up. So we need a motion to accept the trust additions to the $500 credit.
So moved.
Motion and a second.
Second.
Any other discussions to make this muddier than it is already?
and the window is only like this big.
When we're done with this, I have one other question for you.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
So when we did the $500, and then we all asked the question.
Yep.
And we do the 5%. We take the $500 off before we do the 5%.
You do the, yep.
$25.
And that,
When I took the 500 off of every tax statement, it came off the consolidated.
Correct.
Then when you refigure it, the discount you get 475. And I think this is getting to people and people are understanding, you have to refigure it so you don't give the discount on a credit.
Yes, it's just like going to the grocery store, just like going to the store.
Right.
That's the way.
Some people listened, some people didn't. So when they downloaded us, especially the big mortgage company, CoreLogic, we had to turn around and send $475 back on all those people because they overpaid.
And that's something that the state, that's the way we do it for the state is a formula.
Here's the deal is, we weren't, our GovernSoft was not set up for the PRC. When our software was not set up to handle that. So we ended up doing it by hand. This year with Tyler, we should be set up.
so when you take the credit off, you're consolidated. Then you figure the rebate. That's how the state told us to do it.
Correct. Correct. And I did run that past Daniel. Yes, I did get a lot of flack this year from customers because they didn't think it was right. But I mean, I followed everything like Bismarck or Fargo. I mean, I had examples from them. And that's why we did the mobile homes. If their base was $60, we gave them $60 back, not the discount, because it was only fair that when we did the real estate, they got the 500 off the consolidated.
Cause that, I was approached and, this person had called the tax office in Bismarck.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And they
many
said,
times.
he said, what they told him was that's how the counties are doing it. And I just want to make it clear that that's how the counties were doing it because that's how the counties were told to do it.
Correct.
So it's not our choice
No.
to figure it that way. It was.
And I wish they wouldn't have put it that way because actually it was the state project. It was a state.
Right.
And that's how,
what,
yeah.
I mean, we're kind of getting blamed for
exactly
taking money off the rebate.
Well, and I got blamed for what am I going to do with that extra $25 on 2,200 statements?
Yeah.
It's not that. I refigured it. We refigured everything on it. We don't have the $25.
Right. So I guess I don't want to say this facetiously. I mean, we followed what the state program was. We
Yes.
didn't come up, there's not like a bunch of counties got together and say, hey, let's make $25 off the rebate or the discount for paying cash up front. I agree it's not fair, but I just want to make it clear that that was not our decision.
And I think as we had to hand figure everything, that made people really look at the figures.
Mm-hmm.
Like back, if they would have looked at Fargo's or Bismarck's or whatever, it was figured the same. If you figured ours, figured theirs, it was doing the same thing. Theirs was not hand figured. It was all in it. People didn't even look at it.
Yeah.
So.
Thanks, Lisa.
Yep. Thank you.
Moving on to unfinished business. Recommendation from the Building Security Committee.
So, we came up with some key points, for to put together a lease. I haven't talked to Daniel about any of this yet. I was hoping he'd still be here. But so the main points that we came up with for moving the abstract office over to the office space over in the Memorial Building are a lease beginning on October 1st, 2025, just because their schedule is not very conducive to moving until this fall.
Gotcha.
Want to go with the 20-year lease with an initial rate of $600 a month, increasing by 2.5% per year on the anniversary date. And that rental rate would be renegotiated by the county and the tenant every 5 years. And the tenant can break the lease at any time, subject to a penalty of 2 months' rent at the current rate. And the 2.5% was pretty close to the average CPI rate over the last 20 years. So that just rather than having it fluctuate, that seemed like close enough.
Okay. And this was talking back and forth with Downey then.
Yep. Yeah, I got together with her yesterday and this seemed okay. They do have some requests for the space before they would move in, potentially reconfiguring some of the walls that don't go all the way to the ceiling and having at least one of those rooms go all the way to the ceiling for privacy for closings.
Okay.
and told there's potentially a water leak from the roof somewhere in there that would need to be addressed. I haven't talked to Roger about that yet, but that would seem like something we would want to get taken care of.
Yeah, that doesn't matter, right?
And all of these internal walls they're not load bearing. It's a false ceiling. I don't think it would be should not be a huge cost to do anything with any of that.
Okay. So all we need now is get
We would
get approved.
Daniel
Okay.
add in his legalese and actually draw up a formal lease agreement.
So I guess we vote on it when we have an actual document then.
Right.
Okay. Very good.
Making sure that the building, from the standpoint of us owning the building, is in good physical condition.
Yep, absolutely.
Providing good insulation from the weather elements, both rain and snow and heat and cold kind of thing, and those kind of situations. Cosmetically, basically kind of whatever other departments do as well, you know, with some approval from our buildings and grounds, they should be able to do what they feel they need to do within their space.
But yeah, if there's a water leak there, we need to.
Yeah, I mean,
we need
there's
to
some
figure
water
that out.
staining on some of the ceiling tiles. So I
Don't know
if
it's
blue
current.
or
Okay, sounds good.
Well, one of the things that Downey and I have been talking about is making sure that somehow they can either stay within our phone system or, you know, so they don't have to go through and change their number and advertising for a new phone number situation. And I think that's something that could be worked out through the phone company, making sure that they have their same capabilities. They get calls directed towards county offices. We get calls directed towards the abstract. It's nice to be able to have that opportunity to be able to transfer internally.
Yep.
I know we have that with the highway department, and they're, you know, several blocks away from us, not within the same building complex. So, should be something that we could be able to work out. You know, they're still going to pay for their own individual phone services and internet and things like that. So,
just basically want the interconnectivity.
Right.
Yeah. And I spoke with someone from the phone company, and they're pretty sure the wiring is there to be able to pull it off, but we need to come here and lay eyes on it to make sure.
So,
but,
right. So, yeah.
Okay. Anything else on that?
Downey, did you have anything else that we needed to address?
So Paul came yesterday and kind of gave us those terms, and I think we're, of course, as always, we want to stay where we're at, but we're agreeable if the county needs the space and we have to move from where we're at. I think the rent will help us to make that move with the extra costs we're going to have. We'll have extra costs to the recorder every month now, with just a few things that we do with Bev that we can't do the same way. So I think that's fair. I have other questions that I'll make a list, but one thing I'd be interested in to know is if we purchased our own sign and Roger accepted that, would we be able to put up a sign over by that entrance to kind of help people direct them to us? If we had a professional sign done and Roger approved with how it was affixed,
I would think
that would be. Little things
I
like
can't
that.
remember what North Central had over there or not. I know they had some stenciling on their window on their door.
I want to say they had something on the outside of the.
No, that's kind of what I thought, but yeah, I think
right by the.
I think that's a reasonable request.
Like right by the
We'd have it professionally done so that it
by the
looked
door.
nice.
Yeah.
We'd make sure that Roger approved of how it was affixed.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. And then, like Jeff said, I know that there have been ongoing leaks in the roof. There's been multiple spots, and I know that one of them was permanently fixed, but it sounded like there was still one ongoing spot. I don't know where it's at. So maybe I can find that out, and we definitely would be hoping to have that fixed just so we don't have leaking water or like a potential mold problem or something like that. I'm not sure exactly how we're gonna get our desks because they can't be affixed to those middle walls because they're not sturdy enough. And the exterior walls are all just the cement block with no insulation. So we'd have to attempt to avoid installing on those because I know it is cold in there. So we'll just have to kind of work through those things to figure out. But yeah, like Jeff said, we would be interested in talking about removing at least a couple of those false walls just to make the space work better for us rather than all the individual offices. And then extending at least one of the walls in the room so that we don't have the acoustic problem and we don't have any privacy issues for the one space. But other than that, I think we're agreeable to what you guys have stated.
Okay, very good.
I just want to thank Downey and Jean for the cooperation through the negotiation process. And I know it hasn't been easy, and I appreciate you guys and your understanding of our needs, and we understanding your needs and working through this process. So appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we definitely want to continue, to be a good business partner for you guys and a good tenant for hopefully a long time, 60 years plus. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Moving on to new business. I just wanted to bring up for discussion, obviously I'm not asking for a declaration today, but we need to have some kind of, I know we've done it in the past, had a declaration for a disaster with the land that's underwater. I don't know how that works. I know there's new FEMA regulations, and if we don't meet the FEMA regulations, we'll probably be on the hook for whatever, which we need to figure that out. But I just want everybody's thoughts on that, I guess. If you have any.
I think it all relies upon the wording,
right,
and how it's worded. Disaster declarations or something to that effect. It's requiring a bigger response, I guess.
Right.
So depending on how that's worded is because there's not a new, it's an ongoing disaster.
Right. But I guess to me, it's if we don't do something,
that it's still an ongoing
right,
situation that hasn't gone away.
And we need to, I think, take it upon ourselves to get it back off the back page somehow.
It may not be an emergency disaster, but it's still a disaster.
It's a disaster to somebody, so we just have to figure out the wording. And when Daniel told me he was going to had to leave for court, that kind of threw the whole discussion thing out the window.
Might be hard to get a federal disaster, state disaster.
Right. But I mean, we still got to abide by there's rules I know we have to follow, and then we just can't just blare something out for the sake. But I don't know. We need to keep working on this problem because it's not fixed. So I'll get with Daniel on that. Update on cyber security grant. Candy.
So this is This is something that was started by Steve Moe before he left. Obviously, it didn't go anywhere. So Michelle and I got a little nervous with what President Trump has been doing with grants and funding and different things like that. So we have been working with Joe Kramer to like get this thing going, and him helping us like what we needed to do so that we could like move forward with this. And what it entails is I believe it is going to it is going to upgrade like all of our network like switches. Some like I don't know if you know where where our switch closet. It's like walking into a cobweb. So we, like I said, Joe has been helping us. So he got us 3 quotes. And this all has to be state approved. But he said it would help to get it county approved as well, because then the state will just say, sure, you know, the county approved it, so the state will approve it.
So this is a grant we're talking about?
Yes. Yes.
So virtually it's not going to cost us money if it's a grant.
No.
All right.
No.
Well,
Why
wouldn't we go with it? I mean,
we even have a reserve.
What I'm saying is, why wouldn't we
try
to benefit to make it better?
Yep.
To me, it doesn't. It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I guess if you're looking for a motion.
Yep. We, in Joe's recommendation, was to go with that DACMIN Technologies. He has worked with them. He said that they're very good. And I do believe that his quote did include where one of the others did not. I think that was CDW, where they didn't include like the
I see the CDW ones plus 9,945.
Yeah. Yep. That was the stuff with the closet. So they weren't going to do anything with that. Where DACMIN and then High Point Network. You know.
So is the DACMIN, is that the 33,901 or is it the 22,276?
No, it's the 33,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would be the low bit of.
That's a little bit of the 3.
A little bit of the 3. Yep.
I guess I'll make the motion that we use. What did you say, this guy?
DACMIN.
Not DACMIN.
Joe Kramer.
Joe Kramer.
Joe Kramer's advice to use DACMIN technology and move on to this opportunity that faces it.
And we have a grace period or grace, like we have wiggle room because our grant is for 40,000. So if there is something that we,
If we need to add
Yep.
in the time.
Yep. And Michelle has been doing like the, I mean, we haven't done anything. So she's been submitting, like we have to do quarterly reports. Well, obviously we haven't done anything. So, 0, 0, 0.
I'd second Commissioner Volk's
Good.
motion.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion, questions? All in favor of approving Dackman's bid for the cybersecurity update, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Okay.
Thank
Right.
you.
Primary tax letter, is that what we just did with Lisa?
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Any visitors or delegations that would like to speak? Anything from the commissioners that you need to announce?
Certainly like to recommend or mention that the Devils Lake Outlet Advisory Committee meeting tomorrow, 1 o'clock at the Chautauqua Gallery. We should probably appoint somebody from Ramsey County to be our representative on that. Commissioner Mertens passed away last Thursday. So he was our representative on that. Yeah. It'll probably be the last official legislatively Devils Lake Outlet Advisory Committee. Department of Water Resources has committed to continuing public forums regarding the outlet operations. So it just won't be a legislatively mandated like it is now. So, and I probably should have included that on an agenda item. But
Yeah, probably should have. I guess I kind of forgot that Bill was our representative on there.
And that was through a governor appointed
Right.
the deal. So, yeah. So we want to appoint somebody temporarily. I serve on there as a representative from the Devils Lake Joint Board. So
I think we need
it certainly won't hurt to have.
we need a second voice. Yeah, I agree. I would volunteer to do that, I guess, if that's wishes of the commission.
That'd be.
If no one else wants it, I guess. I mean, if we have someone that is willing to put the time in instead of appointing someone that doesn't have the time, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay. Well, I want to put that in the motion then, so we got it in the record.
Make the motion that we appoint Lee.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Anything else?
I guess I would just like to go over, you guys got this HEFTA letter. Just so you guys know, it does say in here, the revised project scope.
Okay.
Just so we're all the understanding, it looks like they're taking in consideration that what we put together. And it looks like they're gonna do pretty much everything that we said, and then consists of the middle overlay. It says the project will be 2027. So that people are aware. Granted, they didn't have anything there on the speed limit. Was that something that you were following through on, or is that just something that they?
Well, the letter went to the highway patrol,
right?
I believe. So it's up to them, correct?
That's a different scope outside of this.
My question is,
My understanding is we're fixed to reduce the speed.
so how do we go about finding that information? That's my question. I think that's what Lee.
Yeah.
And we know what we have here. That's not until 2027. It's a couple of years away. How do we protect the safety of everybody?
Well, just to find out if it's a yes or a no, or if they're still thinking about it, or
From that last correspondence that I think I shared with everybody was from Wade Hansen, the district engineer for the DOT here, he had said that he had followed through and sent that up the chain of command. And it's the superintendent of highway patrol that has to approve that on their end. And then his director of DOT on that end. And he said people from Bismarck have driven that corridor. I told him to wait a few weeks until farming and tourism is in full squeeze and full season, so they can get the full brunt of the type of traffic that's out there.
Okay.
They still having issues with the eastbound semis turning into the bean plant. There's no turn lane on that, and man, if you're not paying attention, going 70 miles an hour and that semi is waiting to turn, you're going to have a stopped trailer in front of them in the passing lane.
Yep.
So just urge people to take caution and pay attention, and hopefully we can get that speed reduced out there between
The half the project is going to be a tremendous safety for the public.
Yeah.
Great.
And it's going to have turn lanes that we actually approved of,
100%.
Publicly. And once the engineering report comes out, they'll have public meetings again, similar to what they did when they initially had that project done, and then we'll have a comment period on that. But I think sending out this initial letter and report to us asking for our opinions on it, and I thought, I sent that off to the township, making sure that they got a copy of that ahead of time before that comment period ended, making sure that everything that we had discussed with them at DOT offices that day was included in that, and I think it was.
Well, and like you said, for the comment part for the public, at least we have the county and the townships all on the same page. It's not like we're butting heads of what is going to happen or could happen.
Yeah. Not everybody's going to get everything they wanted, but at least somebody will get something out of it.
Well, it's if you look at the project, where we were probably on a 60% of what we would like, and I bet we're at probably a 95% of in agreement.
Yeah,
that's a win-win.
Yeah, 100% agree. So thank you for bringing that up.
Candy has an update with Tyler Technology changeover.
Okay. I'm trying to do it like this. Don't think I can. No.
Oh, they work so great.
Okay. Many hours. This is going to be, I don't know if we implemented it on our website quite yet. We're still working out hiccups. But this will be like, you can look up similar to Parcel Viewer, but this is going to give you real time tax information.
The description and everything will be better.
Yeah, like I said, we've got to work out some quirks because we don't quite.
It's going to be once you put this on, there's going to be changes that you're going to.
We don't quite have it. We don't quite have it. Like, if you just click on, we'll just go here. Of course. Nobody. Okay, let's do this.
Look through the bifocals.
Hey, I'm trying. Get to see where that Okay. I'll just use that. So this is what it's gonna look like. It's gonna give you all the information.
And the details of the breakdown.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Click. It will give you history. We only went 3 years. We can go more, but we only put 3.
So question, so every year that the tax thing changes, it changes this also. So 1 year goes to history and then current. That's cool.
Yes.
What's cool about that is because like if you go get a loan in a place, they always want to go back 3 years, right?
Yeah. And that's, well, and the reason why we did 3 years is because foreclosure
Yes.
is 3 years.
Yep.
So.
Makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, there's.
And this. I love this. So this tells you where all your tax dollars go. I think we only chose one for right now, but she gave us like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 different options. And of course we haven't gotten that far yet, but we can go in and so that you can select different pie charts or different, like look at different options for a pie chart. But that's as far as we've gotten.
And when do you have an idea when they want to put this all live?
It currently is kind of
Just not easily accessible yet.
Are the county departments using it now?
Lord, we're trying. We're trying.
Do you have an idea when things will be switched completely?
Yeah. What's the phase out time? There's got to be a sunset.
Yeah. I think we could put it on there at any time, but I think we want to work out as many quirks that we find before we put it out there.
Otherwise, you're gonna just have people public crazily.
Because I mean, just in a house, we found issues that.
And that's good. It's not good that you found issues, but it's good that you're finding this. So
And it's not bad issues. It's just part of the conversion of information just coming over. And so it's just a matter of going in and fixing.
Right.
And then if you look at the bottom, like the very bottom, it tells you like when it was last updated. And I believe she said it's updated like every 20 minutes or every 40 minutes. She wasn't 100% sure on that, but yeah, that's been our.
It'll be great once it's. I know Candy and.
So you're gonna finally see the product that we had to pay.
Yeah, and everybody's great here. Yeah. It is. It's gonna be good.
Once the 100% change goes in effect, and you have to use it. That's when you say, "Hey, this is great."
Yeah.
Nobody likes change.
Yeah.
And if I understand it right, we won't have to ask anybody to change things like the tax statement.
Right.
So
Right.
that'll all come out. There won't be any hand figuring because somebody's
the new
nose is out of
yeah,
joint and
the
didn't get
new program there is like just I mean I'll just give
So
an
the
example
figures, the
for
figures that get put into here, like for instance, if you had a new home, and you were doing a brand new one.
Yep.
That would come from Beth's office then.
Yep. Yep.
And she's tracking all this, like.
Hope so. Yep. It's
Well, everybody's don't have a choice at some point. Right?
Yep.
Exactly.
It's you know, like Lisa was talking about like the primary residence credit, in our not current because this is current, our old program, like, I mean, he kind of tapped out before,
Right.
This one, like it's, I mean,
So I got one other question. So is that something that we should bring up on the next meeting of what we're gonna do with Steve? Because we're still paying him, right?
Not, Lisa had to reach out to him to do stuff for the Edmore school. So after Monday, I want to see where.
Yep. No. And then so just so that we have some kind of a sunset to that also.
Yeah. Yes, because he did like all the maps and
right.
Like
I know we reached out to him.
Yep.
Yep.
You and I had talked.
Yep.
I felt.
And we've been getting stuff and.
Well, the need has to be there because he's not going to be on payroll forever.
Right.
No.
And Michelle's been educating
Yep.
himself on
Yep. And then the other part to that is we need to, and her and I will, we should maybe work on that. We need to work with, Sidwell, I believe.
Yes, I think that's what she said.
Yeah. They work with roughly like 48, 40 some other counties doing soils.
So yeah, so I was gonna ask you and her, and I forgot if there is some kind of training that we need to send her to. I am up to you guys too. It's definitely something that I think we need to provide.
In visiting with, I think his name is Mark. Not sure. They will train her or work with her side by side to do like drawings.
And that's what she had asked.
Yeah.
Me, so that she's just not throwing
Yeah.
worlds to figure it out.
Right? Yep. She actually like purchased a book off of Amazon. And pretty much went through the whole book and got the basics. Like she's got the basic idea, but it's just to take that and like put it all together. And she's got, we've been revamping, redoing, updating things to our website to kind of freshen it up and bring it more up to
User friendly.
Yep. Yeah. Lots of training, lots of, but yeah, we don't have training again till Friday now. So maybe her and I can get with Sidwell and get that part figured out so we know, dollar wise, like what we're looking at. And bring it back.
I'd ask that you keep Beth in that because she's working with that soils and Sidwell and all that kind of stuff as well. So
She brought it to her.
okay.
Yep.
Good. So perfect.
Anything else?
Legislative wrap for the Association of Counties will be held virtually May 14th. I think it starts at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that if you register for it, you can get that presentation recorded version because I have a commitment.
I believe it said it was recorded or
Yeah.
going to be.
So I've registered, and I'd encourage all the other county commissioners
I
to
am
do the
too.
same. Get an ILG credit and a half or some darn thing like that. But the most important thing is to go over all the different legislation that was passed. It's going to dictate on how we operate for the next couple of years. They changed over the prairie dog funding on how that's going to be distributed. They put some of that money into a SIF bucket. Correct, Kevin? You follow that at all? Yeah. So whether or not they fill up the buckets and then distribute it that way, or it's going to be some sort of grant application process that we're going to have to go through in order to get some of that funding. So, and I know always reluctant upon that, and it makes me nervous because, hey, I know where the grants go.
Exactly.
They generally don't come to Ramsey County. So we won't mention the others that they do. But there was a lot of changes down at the legislature, and it's going to take a while to digest it. But I think making sure that we attend and review what Association of Counties comes up with for their presentation on the 14th would be good to review that and listen to, and whether it be election laws or taxation or primary present credit type of stuff. And they didn't do us any favors when it came to jail funding. In fact, I think they made it a little more difficult because if we were looking at bonding that, which I'm sure we're probably going to have to do, is that he used to be able to do a bond on a special election at any time throughout the year. Now they've changed that, so bonds have to be done during primary or general election time period. So we'll have to wait until next year to do a bond for the jail and look at how that's gonna go. So, but maybe in the meantime we can write up some creative legislation to get some money from the state to help fund that, because it's going to be a really high dollar amount once it's.
I think the crucial thing is going to be what happens with the sales tax deal that with the city
has
for that project.
Right.
Anything else from anybody else? I have one announcement. Wednesday, May 28th at 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the basement meeting room, be a retirement get together for Mr. Fielson. He says coffee, cake, and story sharing, and I heard Kevin's bringing a beer, so. So put that on your calendars. I guess that's it. Meeting adjourned.